and going back to profitability, I think people would be astounded to find in this city, just in the city alone, the restaurants that do not make money lose money. I think it would blow the
it truly would
blow their mind.
It would.
Where you think, some of the restaurants that are like national names.
Oh yes.
You'd be very surprised.
It's so funny because it's someone's like, yeah, that restaurant's packed, and I always my retort to that is the fact of like, just because they're busy doesn't mean they're making money.
Yeah.
What do you do to stay on top of your brand?
These days, at least, like with us, our brand was a big part of it, creating your brand. If you can't have that vision and you're not current with knowing what a brand is, or what brands will work,
right.
You have to hire someone who does. I mean, you have to hire a marketing person. You really have to create a brand first, because then everything you do is within that framework. Once you have a salient brand that you know what it is and what it feels like, then everything else you do, whether it be winemakers' dinners or selling hot sauce or putting together a magazine, they all have to be cohesive within that brand. Your brand really infuses every decision you make almost, and that's the way it has to trickle down into almost everything. It almost has to be instinctual. That's why you really have to create it and know it.
Because sometimes you gotta do something new to stay fresh.
Oh, absolutely, and you have to do it all the time. It's everything from like the best customer service that you can do to the best food dining experience that you can offer, wine pairing, the whole gamut. And you just have to keep yourself fresh and keep yourself in the know-how and keep yourself out there and know exactly what's happening in the city.
Is this your first one?
This is our first one.
First one too.
Yeah.
You guys want to do a second one?
Yeah. Scott and I did. That was our plan from the beginning. Was not just have one restaurant.
That's right.
Because honestly, like with two partners and
same type of concepts, or
it would be within the same brand, but it would spin off. We both got some different ideas.
You have a bigger restaurant. You guys both have the same size, pretty much. So before you open yours, right? Did you ever consider like, should I open a bigger one to make money,
we didn't just based on. I didn't. We were always around. We wanted between 35 and 70. That was our number. That's important, knowing what size, because that'll dictate a lot.
Absolutely.
That's where we were. The next one, I think if we were another restaurant, I still want to keep it under like 70 seats.
So would you say, based on where you are now, that you've pretty much followed your plan? I mean, of course things move and change, but do you think that when you got started, you know that you had the vision and you can see that, yes, it really did kind of work?
I can't stress the importance of a business plan, just as it being the map to your success. I'm a big, huge stickler of writing down all my thoughts, and I'm a big vision thinker, because you do have all these things and you kind of have to go back and regroup sometimes. I can tell you, I read my business plan probably, it's almost like my Bible.
That's right.
I do, and I go back and I go back and I look and I said, well, Manetta, you said you're going to have this kind of target market, these are the kind of people, and this is what you're
these marketing strategies,
and you were going to be doing this by now, and this is what was going to be happening in March. And I look and I go, and I get so proud, because I'm like, oh God, I'm on target.
So then how do you become trendsetters? Because I know there's some trends in food that I don't necessarily like.
Honestly, Scott and I, we said one of the first things, you don't want to be a trend, because trends die. You want your concept to be.
So want to be classic.
It doesn't have to be new. It's just be like classic. That's why you look at all the great restaurants, the ones that have been here forever.
Yeah.
They're classic settings.
There we go.
It's like, oh, this one has water running over this. They're just classic. Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, they're classic restaurants.
There's some things that people are just trending like. What are they doing?
That's only going to work for a year.
That's and that's
just
exactly
because they read about it and that's what they're doing. I'm like, well, why are they doing that?
And I think that's key. When we opened up, because of course you opened up with a new restaurant, and I was adamant about having it be a warm, classic feeling that's timeless. And I said, when we open these doors, I want people to think that we've been around forever.
Yeah, for us, we focus on the food that sparks an emotion.
Yeah.
Or a recollection of the memory of, I went to South America, or I had a roommate from Argentina.
And we get grits flown in from Georgia. They're stone ground ice cream grits. Like you can only get them FedEx, and that's people from the South are like, oh yeah, well it says fried chicken, collard greens, and grits. We'll see how these boys do. And they finish like, that's just like my grandma, you know what I mean?
Yeah.